Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. This is season 5, episode number 53, our final episode of season 5. Tonight's the songs edition, Andy. Welcome. What are your thoughts on an album? We're doing an album review tonight. It's going to be very interesting. And then we'll start next week with season 6, the season premiere of season 6 next week. This is our final episode. We're going to do an album review. Tonight's album is from a band called Styx. Styx. We've done them before. We've had some album reviews before, but not as good as this one. Well, I don't want to say good. I don't want to say good, Andy, because look at the album we're going to be doing. The Serpent Is Rising. Here, let me get rid of the banner. So here's the album cover. Now, Styx. Styx has been around a long time, done a lot of stuff. This is considered by many to be the worst album by the band Styx. Now, this is the third album. We'd like to get your response. Yes, I can. He's waving. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Yes.
Okay, this album was, before you get into it, I think they kind of pumped this one out a little too fast.
I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of, hey, threw it out there. They're hot. They're on a roll. And I'll get that later, but it almost felt like a rushed album, like, quick, 10 more songs.
Yes, and I agree with that. And it's going to be coming up a little bit on the review because this album, Andy, was released 3 months. I repeat, 3 months after Styx 2, their second album in 1973. 3 months later, they released. They didn't spend 3 months writing. They didn't spend 3 months touring. They didn't spend 3 months in the studio. It's done, written, recorded, published, and produced and public for you to buy 3 months later. So very quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's not they recorded so many songs and said, release these now and release the others later.
And that may have been it because they released Styx 2 3 months earlier. And these are 10 songs here. Were not, as far as I never read anywhere on the research that these were B-sides or throwaways or ones that they couldn't fit on the album, so they just released this one. But I think what you said was correct. You're hot. You're trying to gain momentum. Let's release another one. Kiss did this when they first started, or releasing a couple of albums a year, but not 3 months different. So this was released October 1973. So they released the other album in July. So very strange. Now, this album was reissued in 1980 with new artwork and a new title called Serpent, which I think that's odd as well. 7 years later, there was no traction on the first album. Hey, let's reissue it. Poor choice, I think. The album peaked at number 192 on the Billboard 200. Very, very poor showing. So this album is described as a loose concept album. Now, I didn't find much of that in doing my research as far as a concept. I think they tried a bunch of things, but there was no single theme, woven throughout the entire album. It's progressive. It's a lot of stuff just mishmashed together, and I think that's why it didn't work. It didn't work. Lots of sexual innuendos, of course. This is 1973. Imagine, Andy, the albums that were released in 1973 that were competing with this, from the likes of Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. All of the bands that were released in the early 70s was huge. And so maybe they thought that too, hey, let's try to just ride the coattails and this could take off. But I don't know. It's considered, the genre is progressive rock and hard rock. Studio is the Paragon in Chicago. So I don't know if I'm going to call it a loose concept album. It has some music, it has some King Crimson influence, especially on their debut album. And I didn't pick that up. Did you pick up any of that little King Crimson?
I didn't, no.
Okay. Now, the other thing that I thought, once again, I could be wrong, but it's, you've got the three lead singers. They all kind of take their turn on the vocals, and it doesn't have any consistency to it. Now, that's not to say there's good songs on the album. Here's the track listing. Witch Wolf, title, the first track. I like that. That's JY.
Okay.
James Young on the vocals. Good song. Next song, The Grove of Eglantine. The Grove of Eglantine. That's Dennis DeYoung on the vocals there. Next song is Young Man, another JY. I like this. Young Man is also a good song. And then the next song is the other vocalist, John Kirilewski.
Yep.
As Bad as This. Now, this is kind of an acoustic bluesy song. As Bad as This, I got no problem with that.
It was an okay song.
It's okay. It was followed by a hidden track called Plexiglass Toilet, a hidden track. Weird Al Yankovic loved this song.
Dr. Demento played that song a few times.
Okay. Plexiglass Toilet. So it's a hidden track. It's 2 minutes long. It's a goofy comedy kind of a deal. It sounded to me like something that should have been on an Adam Sandler CD, years ago. But this is 1973. So goofy, I get that, whatever. Next song, Winner Take All. Now, Andy, they only released one song, and of all the songs they decided they released Winner Take All. Probably a poor choice, kind of a weaker song, I think. That's JY on the vocals as well.
Yep.
22 Years is the next song. Here are the vocals interchanged between Dennis DeYoung and JY. 22 Years, written by Kirilewski. 22 Years. That's okay, I guess. Then there's Jonas Salter. I like that song. It's kind of a pirate theme, lyrics. JY sings that. And then The Serpent Is Rising. John Kirilewski on the vocals there. That's the title track. The Serpent Is Rising. So that's a progressive, kind of a prog. I don't know. I don't really like it, but it's fair enough. I've never heard that song ever before. And then the final two songs are Krakatoa. It's a 1 minute 36-second, not much music, kind of some yelling and screaming. That relates to the volcano, the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa. 1 minute 36 seconds, kind of a throwaway there. And then finally, it's the Hallelujah Chorus, written by Handel. George Frederick Handel from Messiah. They all sing that. And Dennis DeYoung plays the pipe organ at the St. James Cathedral Church in Chicago. Very interesting, very well done. I don't know if that's needed or necessary to be on a rock album. I don't know if it's the right place for it. Yes, it was done good. I don't need it on, if I'm going to be popping in a Styx album to be hearing that. But what are your thoughts on the Hallelujah Chorus to start off with?
They did a good job, but time and place, that's no. This whole album was kind of like, a lot of bands like Garage Days or the Spaghetti Incident. Just, I think the band might have liked the album, but they were the only 5 who did, because, it didn't get big reaction. They didn't take one song and go, this one got a little traction. Let's re-record it later. I'll get into later here. We're doing a little something different today. This is going to be like an all Styx episode. They were kind of starting to peak after 2 albums, and this song came out. I don't know if they were cocky or what, and it took a while to get that reaction back. And Styx fans, just remember, this was pre-Tommy Shaw.
Yes. This was early. This is early stuff here.
So they'll go, wow, how can it Styx? Tommy Shaw had nothing to do with this. Some of the other guys, had nothing to do with this. So the band did have a lot of evolution of different members.
And so they were still young and inexperienced, trying to kind of figure out, they're trying to find their own identity. The label was Wooden Nickel was the label. And all of it was kind of new. It was all new, and they were kind of trying to find their way. I don't think it worked. I don't think the songs are necessarily bad. The album as a whole is one of the worst. Now, Styx considers this to be their worst recording. Dennis DeYoung is indirectly quoted as saying it was, quote, one of the worst recorded and produced in the history of music. Not just Not just Styx. The history of music, he said it was that bad.
Yeah.
Now, here's the personnel. Like you said, Shaw, Tommy Shaw's not in the band yet, but Dennis DeYoung is on vocals. James J.Y. Young, vocals, electric guitar. John Solowski, guitars and vocals. There's a lot of synthetic, synthesizers, accordion, keyboards. Chuck Penozzo, bass. Chuck Penozzo, and then finally John Penozzo, drums and percussion. So, I mean, they got 5 guys, pretty decent. The cover art, if you're looking here on the video,
Yep.
the cover album is done by Dennis Pohl. Very interesting cover art, and so it never even went. I think, did it go gold? Did it even go gold, or did it not even?
No, I don't think it did.
It didn't even do that. So they didn't have a lot. Dennis Pohl did a lot of work on the creative side, on the art here work. You're supposed to, look at the details. There's so much involved in this piece that he did, but I think it gets missed because the album never got that much airplay and airtime, and it got tossed in the discount bin. And that was it. Is that kind of what your take was from this?
The album cover's too busy. They tried to do some of their songs, the sexual innuendos, tried to be too much like Kiss or some of the other bands at the time, but you weren't. That wasn't your style. Just I don't know if it was a contracts with the record company had to produce so many or what the deal was, but
yeah, this album sold fewer than 100,000 copies worldwide. So not even in the U.S., 100,000 worldwide. So
we almost have 100,000 views worldwide in 5 years. Jesus, we can do that.
It's true. So, why they reissued it in 1980, why they put the new artwork, why they renamed it Serpent.
Well, in 80, they were peaking. Let's see if we can make a few more bucks off. It's like having a garage sale. You got that little piece of crap in the corner that you think it's a nice piece of furniture. No one's going to give you a wooden nickel for it. And you got $20 labeled it for,
Yeah, it's a very interesting piece. Now, the next album, a year later, they released Man of Miracles. And, obviously they became better in the late 70s. They were a powerhouse. But that first song also, not the first one, but the title track, The Serpent Is Rising, they used a harpsichord and an accordion to give it more of a British European sound. So it might be the case, Andy, were they trying just too hard to do
I think
something?
so, yeah.
It's just, it would have been better off just left maybe 8 songs, an average album cover, and release it. Big deal. It was too much thinking was involved, I believe, on this.
And I was looking at my stuff here. Where's my note on it here? Yeah, it said Styx 2 reached number 20 in the charts, went gold.
Okay.
That came. Then this one went to 192, and that was it. But then the next album, like I said, Man of Miracles was 154. Then Equinox came out. That went to 58. Crystal Ball went to 60. Okay, now we're doing something here.
Okay.
Grand Illusion in 77 went to number 6. 78, yes. Pieces of 8 went to number 6. Then, of course, Cornerstone 2, Paradise Theater 1, 79, 81 for release dates. The famous Kilroy Was Here went to number 3 in 83. And then in 90, they dropped back down to number 63 with Edge of a Century. And I'm just going to kind of go through some of these other stuff here now that I said those dates. You do some of the math on it here. Our boy Tommy Shaw was in the band from 75 to 84.
Okay.
That's when it peaked. Most of the band left in 84, except for a couple guys. And that's when they sucked ass. 90, 91, that bad album. But it's like after 94, they all just stopped. Everybody else kind of joined in, but Tommy Shaw left in 84, came back in 95. So it was a 10-year
personnel issues, talent. I don't know.
Yeah, they all went solo. They all did other stuff. 75 to 84 was the peak. Well, let's look back again. 75. That was Equinox. That's number 58. So they increased 100 spots on one album. Tommy Shaw joins, they go up 100 spots. He's there till 90. Oh, funny, 83 was Kilroy was here number 3. The next album, 90, was 63. Was Tommy Shaw the difference? Him solo or his presence alone the difference? Yes, no, indifferent. Was it the fact that he just made everybody else around them better? Who knows? Their songs. Best Thing in 1972 went to 82. Lady in 73 off Styx 2 went to number 6.
Okay.
Well, then they didn't have another single until Equinox with You Need Love. That went to 27. Crystal Ball. That they had nothing or really charted higher than 36 on that one, except for Come Sail Away went to number 8.
Okay.
Grand Illusion had a handful of songs. Fooling Around, Blue Collar Man, Sing for the Day, Renegade off Pieces of 8. That went up there. Then in 1979, off Cornerstone, Babe went to number 1. That was it. Boom. Because Renegade was out, Blue Collar Man, there were top 20. Blue Collar Man was 21, Renegade 15. So you're popping around that close to top 20 song, all great sing-along songs. Then 1979, Power Ballad Babe comes out, number 1. Boom. You're off like a rocket ship. Other songs, they had a lot of top 20 songs after that. Best of Times, Too Much Time on My Hands.
Okay.
Both off Paradise Theater. And then Mr. Roboto came out. Kilroy Was Here. Number 3, Don't Let It End went to number 6. Then Edge of a Century, they had Show Me the Way went to number 3, kind of a ballady song. But there were still top 50, top 20 songs all the way through there, through 84. And then the legs just fell off the machine. They're all gone.
Okay.
I think what happened, 84, and I didn't do the full Styx deep dive. We'll do it. I'll try to get focused on this album without getting too far away into it. I think Eels collided. Dennis DeYoung went separate. Tommy Shaw went separate with other stuff. Other guys went separate. Kind of like the Eagles. That you get too many egos in a room. Sports team. There's only one basketball to pass around. You can't have 5 superstars. I think that was their problem. I just wish they could have come back sooner together and done something.
Sure.
They were all very talented musicians.
Yes.
Tommy Shaw. He's on my laminated 5 for Man Crushes.
Yes.
So I like him. I like Dennis DeYoung's voice. Dennis DeYoung has solo in Desert Moon. Oh my God. Great song. But a lot of the other songs that Styx did. Babe, Renegade. They're all great songs. I kind of compare Styx to Journey.
Okay.
Or modern day Night Ranger.
Okay.
Are they rock and roll? They're hard rock? Are they soft ballady? Yes. They can pull it all off. Foreigner. They're in that same group. Rock and roll guys liked them. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to Foreigner. I listen to Styx. Oh. But those same guys also listen to Van Halen, Ted Nugent, AC/DC, liked those guys. Those the same guys who like Styx and Journey, them also liked Air Supply and the other stuff like that. Because they hit all the spectrums. So if you're a true music fan, you like them. And I think they felt that pull there too. Are we rock and roll? Are we pop? Are we prig? This guy in the band wants to go this way. This guy wants to go that way. We can't do albums like this one with 3 or 4 different genres of music on it.
It's 2 across the board, yeah. Now,
you can't let's do a bluesy one here and a ballady one album next time. You can't mix them up either that way. So
no, the album name, Led Zeppelin was popular with Zeppelin, and then Zeppelin 2, Roman numeral 2 after it, and then they went Roman numeral 3 for their 3rd album. Styx comes in, and their 2nd album is Roman numeral 2, maybe riding the coattails or the idea, and thinking that hey, maybe we could have done Roman numeral 3, but they said hey, let's go with The Serpent Is Rising.
Well, they got Van Halen 2, and then they changed after that.
So did they want to come off more of a I don't know, a dark mystique,
Or
mystery.
brash you were out there.
The Serpent Is Rising. It doesn't match the music. It's not a Judas Priest album. It's not an Iron Maiden. It's not a Dio with the serpent. It's kind of goofy. It's more softer than that. But once again, there are some good songs on the album. The album itself is, I'm not going to pop it in and play front to back, but there are some songs that I was surprised that were better than what I was expecting. And they had some good songs.
I put them into my shuffle on Spotify if a couple of them songs come up.
Yes.
But I'm not going to go, where's that album? I want to listen to the whole album. And that's, I love Styx, but you know what? I've never been that bored to listen to the entire album.
Most of the albums that we do reviews on, a lot of the comments come back to that I could press play and listen to the whole thing because we like the entire album, all the songs. And that's not the case here. Maybe there's people out there that like it, but I can see why they had low ratings.
To quote one of my favorite shows as a kid.
Yes.
Siskel and Ebert. Thumbs down.
Yeah. I think most would say that.
And I still love Styx.
Yes.
So it's not like, I don't like that band. Their album sucks. I like Styx, but this album,
it's a weak production, is all I can really say. And they did it too soon and whatnot. But who knows what the reasonings were? Anything more on Styx, Andy?
No, just again, they're a great band. Not except this album. Go back and listen to them, enjoy them. Dennis DeYoung, Tommy Shaw, great guys. Listen to all their stuff. I wouldn't put Styx like on a Mount Rushmore thing. They're not a top 10 band of the 70s or the 80s. No. Sure. They're not I forgot that when I mentioned top 10. They're not that either. They're just good and they're just Styx. You know what I mean? They're the middle child of 70s and 80s rock.
Now, are they still around today, touring on the casinos?
No, not as well. They are touring as Styx. In fact, I think they're going to be in Rochester coming up.
Yeah.
Which members of? I think Tommy Shaw's with there. I don't know if Dennis DeYoung's popping in or not. I don't know who's carrying the banner right now.
The gambling crowd, for that older generation, that like this stuff. Mainly, those folks are upper 50s, 60 years old right now, and that's the kind of music they like. But they're not the same band member. You're not going to see the original as you're not going to see the original with Journey and other bands that are out there touring. So that's all we've got for this week. Any other music news or notes?
Nothing. Just pop in suggestions on you could find our contact information there.
Leave your comments and questions below, and maybe if you're a fan and you like this album, please leave your comments. There's never a bad question. Certainly ask it. Certainly put your comments out there. We'll share it. But we'll see you next week, next Thursday, on our season premiere of season 6.
Maybe something a little different. Unless we thought this format where we did Styx album, then talk just Styx. Are you bored with the concept information? It's like, we saw that on social media, Andy. Don't repeat it. Or do you want us to repeat it because you don't follow social media? Let us know.
Sounds good. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye. Say bye, Don.